Cody Co might be finished. Let's check this out.
So Cody Co is an extremely successful
at Sitcom? Yeah,
YouTuber
he
who
did
has
for
been
like a
very
year.
popular for over a decade online.
And what do you have to say about your rise to success?
Well, I wish I could say I had people who doubted me, but everyone knew I was gonna kill it.
I would say he's viewed as almost a reverse David Dobrik. Like, people
Yeah, he
actually
actually
think this
is.
man is funny and has good takes, and the majority
well,
has
let's not
considered
say
him
a
to be a
reverse David
stand-up guy
Dobrik.
for a very long time. In fact, he had pretty much entered that golden boy territory here on YouTube
Where he
after
couldn't
having
do
such a
wrong.
strong reputation for
Yeah.
being on the right side of history for so long. His career has likely gone better than he ever could have expected. Everything he touches seems to turn to
Literally.
gold. And nowadays he's a comedian,
What could he have possibly
podcaster,
done
writer,
wrong?
and even DJ. And so in this story you have him, who is now 33 years old.
Damn!
And the other person really involved in this situation is
Don't
named
tell me
Tana
he had an
Mojo.
affair.
Back in the day, she blew up at the age of 17 years
Ugh.
old.
I told myself before I started YouTube that I was going to be different and that I wasn't going to be like every other YouTuber and that I wasn't going to be
brother.
the sellout.
Oh,
average,
brother, this
blonde
guy
bimbo on YouTube.
stinks.
I was going to be someone different.
She got a lot of hate online for her actions back then.
Today I have my handy dandy MacBook right here and we're reading some motherfucking hate comments.
With her infamous TanaCon really being the huge story against her at that time. But nowadays, she's 26 years old and has managed to become a co-host on a massive podcast called The Cancelled Podcast. And I've seen women wearing their merch out in public, so it must be
What
a
the
pretty big
fuck?
show.
They have
do have
merch.
millions of subscribers and
That's
regularly
crazy.
get millions
Trisha
of
Paytas.
views per podcast. And so these two had some sort of relationship back when she was first entering the internet atmosphere. They even did some collab videos at that time.
Okay.
Like, we're not friends, you know? Like, this was organized by someone else.
I don't know her.
I've
Sorry.
never met him.
Teach me some slang. Teach me some teen
Okay,
slang.
well, I was gonna, like, write it
Alright, so
down.
I'm way too
Teen
old to be on
slang.
YouTube. Obviously. She knows a whole bunch of slang and cool words because she's, you know.
Well, I can see where this is going, and I don't want it to go there, bro. I don't want it to go there. Please, Cody. Please, Cody Co, my nigga. Don't let it go there, bro.
Teen, whatever. So
If this
I'm
another
here
Dr.
basically to
Disrespect,
learn some
I'm gonna lose
teen
my
slang.
mind.
And apparently back then, Tana was a massive fan of this man Cody before they had ever even met.
No, seriously, I'm just, like, your biggest fan. Like, this is such an honor. Like, oh my god.
Well, now Cody has found himself in some extremely hot water because recently this clip from a live recording of the Cancelled Podcast had gone viral.
You've ever had sex with? Oh my god, did no one look at me, Cody Co.
What?
The Cancelled Podcast had gone viral.
You've ever had sex with? Oh my god, did no one look at me, Cody Co.
You've never... I thought you said never.
Delete the video. I can say that. I was literally 17. I can say that. What? Sorry.
And obviously, the internet is always going to be the internet, and people started digging, and the timeline was looking suspicious, as Cody is quite a bit older than Tana. And so now Tana took to one of her latest podcast episodes
she
to
say?
go into further detail about these allegations.
I've tried to talk about this a million times, and I feel like I never have the right words. I hooked up with Cody Co when I was 17 and he was 25. Yeah, it happened.
Now keep in mind, this all allegedly happened during the
Bro.
course of a Playlist Live event, which is hosted in Florida where the age of consent is 18 years old, meaning this would be a crime. And yes, this did allegedly take
Bro,
place almost
why?
a decade
Oh
ago,
my
but she says
gosh.
time and time again here that it was hard for her to wrap her head around this situation over time because she has
Oh my
experienced much
gosh,
worse
bro.
trauma in her life. And so in comparison, this situation never crossed her mind as an issue until she got older.
It's honestly disgusting, and I also think when you're that age, you think you know everything and you think you're way more mature than you actually are. And then from our age now, we can look at it in
Bro,
hindsight
Cody,
2020 and it's like, oh my god,
no.
you were a child.
Yes,
You
and
were young.
I think a lot of things like that happened to me as well because I really did have to grow up severely at a really young age. When I look back at the Cody situation, I definitely am like, why was he doing that? You know what I mean? And there were so many situations. There was a situation with Gabby Hanna at a Playlist Live where she pulled him aside and told him like, yo, she's 17. And then we still went and hooked up. And I can look at that and be like,
Bro, what the
why
fuck?
the fuck were you doing that? But I don't associate or hold it with trauma because
Bro,
I
this-
am such a comparative
Why?
person
What the
where I'm
fuck?
like, so many worse
What
things
is
have
wrong
happened
with
to me.
niggas?
And you didn't at that time, it's like you don't really know what you're doing, and like you don't really think it's wrong. But again, it's like he was 25.
She even goes on to make the point that it was hard for her to come forward with this because she still doesn't necessarily look at Cody as a bad person.
The thing is like, I still watch his videos. Like, I do think he's really funny. And like, it is this weird thing of like, it would be easier and harder, or it would be easier and less hard if he was like
easily hateable.
Yes.
Yeah.
To really put this more into perspective, this is someone who is the age of a junior in high school, hooking up with a famous man 7 years after he graduated. And that's not even to mention all the power dynamics with her being a big fan of him before they ever even met, and with her being very green to a new industry that moves very fast and, like she says here, can be very sexual.
I was just hooking up with people and having so much fun, and like, because I grew up loving him, and I think you know what I mean? Like, I was just like excited and a fan, and like.
She also makes the point here that because she is disliked a lot online with a historically poor reputation, and because Cody has been so universally loved, people tend not to believe her about this story.
I know for a fact if you swapped out Cody Ko with someone that like people didn't like that much, I would be receiving so much more sympathy versus like the amount of people in this industry who like want to protect him.
With that being said, there is this witness named Gabby Hanna that corroborates with her story.
I told a guy, I saw him making out with a girl at a party who was underage, and I pulled him aside and I was like, hey man, you probably don't know, I know she like looks a little older, she's underage, watch it. And he's like, oh my god, thank you for telling me. And then
this all kind of reminds me of when the sketchy actions of David Dobrik came out years ago, and all of his fans were riding really hard for him, trying to throw his creepy ass bail just because they enjoy his content. It is very hard for fans to think of someone they've watched grow for years in this way, but that does not mean that Cody has not been feeling the pressure of this slowly coming to light, as Tana claims that he even reached out to her about it.
I think I said something about it online and it was starting to surface, and he texted me like, are we good?
So for weeks now, since this story first started bubbling up due to that viral clip, Cody has now been deleting any comments or Reddit threads that mention the situation at all. And so now many people are obviously demanding some sort of response from Cody. And I do want to say there has been this greater conversation online about the age of consent lately. And I just want to say, like, beyond the physical aspect of it, I feel like it's really more about the mental differences. Like, when you're 16 to 18 years old, you feel like you're on the precipice of adulthood, but you really aren't even close. But because you feel like you are maturing, you will likely try and do things that adults do. Like, I would even call 18 to 21 still a pre-adult phase, because you still don't know shit about life. And most people are still going to do extremely stupid things during this time with their newfound freedom. Now, by the time you turn 21, obviously you have more rights. You've had a couple more years to make your own choices. And by the time you're 25, like Cody allegedly was, you should know better and just be smarter than to even think about spending time with anyone who is still a minor. So we need Cody to say something here. Like, could you imagine if this was James Charles at 25 hooking up with some 17-year-old high school fan of his? There would be hour-long think pieces posted left and right. I also want to know what you guys think will happen if this turns into a he said, she said situation, where he just denies ever sleeping with her in the first place. Because like this woman says, people already view her as dishonest due to her past, and with the other main witness in this situation being Gabby Hanna, who also doesn't have a very good reputation online, just being very realistic, this could 100% turn into that. Now with that being said, I do believe he does have a pretty large female audience, and while it is my belief that he will always have a platform, I do want to know if you guys think this story could do severe damage to his career. But I guess for now, we're just gonna have to wait and see what he has to finally say. And we definitely still have to hear him out and hear his side of the story. But I want to know what you guys think about this entire situation down below. I also want to thank you guys for watching today's video, dropping a like and subscribing. Y'all know I'll continue to keep you updated as more things continue to come out. But for now, it's been your boy, the Tan Superman. Some other online situations out here need to be covered, so I'm out.
America got a thing for this gangsta shit, they love me. Black Tuckers, Black Scully, leather Pele Pele. I take spit over rainbow shit. I'm a vandal, got that silver duct tape on my tray handle. The women in my life bring confusion and shit, so like